For goodies, lumber, cement, galvanize. I believe to be distributed throughout the country, even to people who do not need them. What is most sickening about this is that it takes place every 5 years when we are called on to exercise our right to vote. Is this what we have come to 182 years after emancipation, and when we are into our 40th year of independence, a year of renewal that we are told? Are we so desperate to stay on the plantations, not the sugar, but the political ones? One of the major areas of conflict in the period prior to emancipation arose over the ownership of provision grounds and houses that the slave used and considered their own. They had one slave claimed in 1833, worked long enough for them. The provision grounds in particular, they cherished because they provided them with a degree of independence. They sold the proceeds at the weekly market, and some were able to use the proceeds to purchase their freedom. It gave them an opportunity to socialize and chat with their brethren in other states. Along with their homes, they provided the space to retain their African culture. In any event, as they moved closer to emancipation, their aim was to be independent of the plantations, with the option to work there when it was necessary, provided wages were adequate and satisfactory. Emancipation and independence later were to them and their descendants an opportunity to develop themselves by their own means. What would they have said if they saw their dependents anxiously waiting for handouts? I am here simply making the connection between emancipation and independence. But what was independence about? It was not only about breaking the physical colonial bonds, but about emancipating the mind from the legacies of slavery and colonialism and providing a platform to develop ourselves and our country. 41 years after independence, the system should allow a government in power to campaign on its record, especially when it has been in power for 20 years. The opposition party should tell us what it intends to do differently and to critique what is happening. The media should be critical in this exercise, the fourth estate as it is labeled. In 2020, our education should allow us to have a healthy conversation, respecting each other's views in the process. The political parties should prevent their teams for our examination, not preaching the invincibility of anyone other than the God that they worship. We should be equipped to defend our democracy. Ironically, we are only able to exercise this once every 5 years. But even then, we fail to do so. We are then captured by an education system that presents us with certificates that allow us to be sold to the highest bidder. The slaves were chattels. Today, we continue to be used as commodities. Those we have given the right to govern on our behalf do what they know they can get away with. We have not been exposed to critical thinking, for to do so will be to allow us to recognize that we are the real power, and we select the persons who work on our behalf, with the ability to extend that privilege or take it away without being subjected to machinations. To build our physical and social infrastructure is what we should expect. To provide us with the tools to be active participants in our development. To teach us how to fish, not to give us the fish. Certainly not to try to impress us with material symbols. Dr. Adrian Fraser, well said. Extremely well said. Every 5 years we get this, and the defenders and the justifiers try to justify it. I had a man tell me the other day, it goes on every year, I said, that's a lie. Why are you lying to me?
What
we
goes
spend
on
money
every
every year. But if you spend $1 million every year, and then in the 5th year, you spend $20 million, how is that? What is the purpose of that? Who really, really, really believes in their heart that this is not designed to keep an electorate voting for you? Well said, Dr. Adrian Fraser. You see why I love history? History is a wonderful thing. Independence of the mind is a wonderful thing. So, Danny, we hear people say, they're not going to vote in this election. You have friends who've said that, correct?
Listen, it's mind-blowing the amount of persons who have expressed that to me.
Do you know why that is the case?
Well, I know that you have a theory.
You know what they say. But they'll say, I don't like the government, but I don't like NDP either. Whenever somebody is talking to you, and in the middle of a sentence they use the word but, you must ignore everything that came before.
Jeez.
Somebody said, I got that from somebody else, by the way, and I think they were right. I think they were absolutely right.
Well, you see,
So you tell me what odds that galvanized lumber and giveaways for other than to influence people. And why people, and the reason that people, Danny, say they're not going to vote for anybody, what they really mean is they really want to vote for the status quo. They want to keep what is currently there. They don't want any change.
but
it is an excuse.
most people, and I'm just speaking from
Yes.
my experience, speaking to
Yes.
people about this,
Yes.
they don't want to keep the current administration there.
That's not true. They're lying to you.
But they
There you
say,
go. What did you just say?
but the
Thank you.
word, right?
Correct. Thank you.
They say, but
Yep.
I'm not confident in the NDP.
It's an excuse.
I don't want to keep.
It's an excuse. And
the
they should not lie to
ULP
themselves
there.
because they're lying to themselves.
Well, then-
There's
well,
nothing
then-
wrong with you supporting your party. If you think the NDP, the ULP is the best one to be there, keep them there. Go out and vote for them if that is your opinion. But don't lie to yourself and make
Right.
excuses that you want to change. But, first of all, how do you know how the NDP could do or not do? How do you know? The NDP haven't been in power in 20 years. None of the
Correct.
current people there were in power in those days. None of them. There's a reason that the NDP ran this country for 20 years. You know why that was, Danny? Sorry, for 17 years. You know why? Because the majority thought they did a pretty damn good job. That's why. So let's stop trying to lie and change history, as Dr. Fraser would say. Let's not change history. There was a time when the majority felt that they'd had enough of them and they needed to go. That's all that happened. It wasn't that they were doing such a terrible job and they were so horrible and there was this and there was that.
But you just said none of those current people were there then.
None of them.
So right. So
Not a single
going
one.
forward,
Yes.
it's a hard thing to argue when it's not the same people who were there when
Because
a good
it's
job
an
was being
excuse
done.
in your brain to justify in your brain, right, the reality. You know, first of all,
But it's also the
remember,
reality
Danny,
that those people weren't there then.
Danny, almost anybody who's under the age of 40 years old knows only one prime minister in this country.
Correct.
Anybody who's under 40 only knows Dr. Ralph Gonsalves.
Yes.
Almost no one can remember anyone else, correct?
Correct.
And it's
Well,
that
more or less.
has two impacts. It's a positive impact for the prime minister because people have this perception that he's the only one who could lead, he's the only one who could do anything. Owen Arthur died.
Yes,
Great
I
Prime
saw
Minister
that.
Barbados, a terrific guy. When he lost the election, I often wondered why. Because as an outsider, you perceive certain things differently than as an insider, right? And Owen had a very different, Mr. Dr. Sir, I don't know if he's a Sir or not. Mr. Arthur had a very different, people in Barbados had a very different view. Because when you've been in power too long, you get arrogant and you need to go. It's the nature of the beast. Owen Arthur, I think, was the longest serving Prime Minister in Barbados. I think he served 15 years. You know what? 15 years is an awful long time in politics. An awfully long time in politics. So when your friends are telling you,
But stick a pin.
but you
Stick a
just
pin.
said don't talk about
Stick a pin.
it. Yes,
So do you think our prime minister has become arrogant?
absolutely. Absolutely.
You should see the
but I
look
don't-
Flex gave you.
But
Flex
I'm not blaming him. It's
It
his
comes
natural.
with the territory.
I keep saying this. If I was the prime minister, I'd be arrogant after 20 years too. Why wouldn't you be?
People really love you.
You are a king. People think that they love you. Drive around in motorcades. People practically worship the ground you walk on. Nobody dares tell you to your face that I think you're wrong on this particular
Let's take this
item.
call. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Good question with the arrogance. Now, Stephen, I wish you could give me a picture of how you see Dr. Ralph E. Gonsalves. Remember, he said you only wanted 2 terms. Just give him 2 terms. Why has the change come about now that he's looking for 5 terms and even more?
Because
Anytime when you have, power, it would seem can really, change your whole personality. I think the power has gotten to him, and he can't lose, or he doesn't want to lose, or he can't give up, whatever the case might be. But what bothers me is that he's such a powerhouse that there are some people who believe that everything he does is from his own pocket to whatever, and they are intimidated by him. Thank you.
Thanks,
All right,
Dave. I mean,
thanks.
let's be clear here, right? When I say arrogant in some ways, arrogance in the way that I don't think Dr. Gonsalves wants to debate anybody. And if you disagree with him, heaven help you, right? And why is that? Because he's been there 20 years. That is why. Dr. Gonsalves was not always like this. He used to come on the radio station with us and we would argue and debate and disagree. If you disagree now, he gets very upset and irate with you. In those days, he wasn't like that. But if you put somebody in that position of power for 20 straight years, how are they going to behave? Stephen Joker would behave the same or worse, probably. Right? Because it's our human nature.
So you're saying the fault is not on him.
The fault is
onus
not on him.
Okay.
It is, and everybody wants to blame him. Ralph is this, Ralph is that. No, he's not. He's a human being. All right? I have always said that what happened with Sir James is he stuck around too long, right? He stuck. If Sir James had gone after 10 years, he would have been a god in this country today. No doubt about it for what he achieved in the first 10 years, right? But when you get in, I remember Ralph coming on the radio with us. Jerry will remember those days when he invited me on his program, World in Focus. And 10 years is enough. Why anybody would want more than 10 years? We have it. We know it. The reason is because once you get there, that power. How many of us get to drive around in a motorcade, Danny? I've never driven in a motorcade. You with police all around me.
Must be nice.
People with big guns surrounding me, protecting me at all times, right? Nobody ever says to me, Ralph, I think you're wrong on this. I disagree with you doing this.
But how do you know that
Almost
people
never.
don't say that?
That's a very good point.
You
As
don't
far
know
as I am
if
aware,
there are
there's
people
nobody. Okay,
around
let me
him.
rephrase it. As far as I am aware, I know of no one, none of Ralph's supporters who would disagree with him on most things that he does, who will say, I think that this is the wrong approach, right? I'll give you an example. Look at the education revolution we've been talking about. And I've always advocated that we haven't had a revolution in education, right? We have had an evolution. It is good that the government has been able to get people more scholarships. That's wonderful.
Right.
But we haven't had a revolution. A revolution would mean people were thinking creatively and differently than they are and before. Not that just more people and everybody can now go to high school. Because what is the difference if at the end of the day you're turning out pretty much the same level of intellect as you were before? What is the difference with the people who cannot think?
Who don't have the ability to change their minds.
Ability to change their minds. Because we never challenge them. Right?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my sister.
Morning.
Greetings, Brother Joakim. I missed you yesterday, but I'm glad to hear your voice again today.
Good morning,
And
sir.
continue to do what you do, that is to speak the truth. Because let me say this, I'm fed up with this divisiveness in this country. Who have to talk like Dr. Friday? I just called to ask you one thing. I spoke to you personally concerning leadership in the NDP. And I'm saying is that this is our biggest problem. I'm not blaming Dr. Gonsalves anymore. I think just like Trump, he and Maduro, they want to hold on. We have a situation where a vast majority of people in this country are looking for representation. They have seen weakness since 2001, and they continue to see it when we start adding new stuff. And this morning they get up. I'm hearing...
Hello.
Yes.
Let's talk about leadership, please.
Well, I'm saying leadership means that here you have a situation where on Saturday a guy called, a lawyer, to say that you cannot acquire land unless you want it for the public use.
Right.
And that is down in Buffalo. If you're going to use it for a library, you're going to use it, maybe you could get to the Naples. And I'm saying the first thing you're hearing today is a leader of a political party that is, we have a mass movement. A lot, I'm part of it. Many of us, we are there because we want change. Saying, he's going to work with Sandals. I'm saying, for me, what side are you on? And I'm only saying it is time that the people of this country get better. It is time, Dr. Friday, that you understand. Not from Hamilton or one or two persons. I've done my survey. Very top people in your party. We heard James Mitchell. I mean, he didn't come out and literally say, Dr. Friday, But what I'm saying, it is time that the people of this country get representation. You have given it to us. This radio station, Bing, Jerry George, been giving us representation, speaking for people. And I'm saying that this is what I've been doing. I'm not here with any craziness or any passion for bitterness to fight people. I want to see representation. I got it from the very same leader that I talk about, that I don't support, Dr. Gonsalves, in the opposition. He walked with us. He motivated us.
So, Hammer,
Yeah, go ahead.
what you really want is exactly the same kind of leadership as you currently have done, correct?
What I have where?
You want the same kind of leadership as you're being offered by the current administration. That's what you're saying?
No, don't go.
But that's what it sounds like to me,
No,
Danny.
no. Let me get it clear now. Let me get it clear. Because I am saying you know what is a dictatorship. And you know what is right from wrong. And you know that there are a lot of how politics work. And so you put somebody in there, even when they're the worst thing, and they perform. Look, for example, let me tell you finally what I mean. You think about, for example, what happened with the St. Kitts Prime Minister. He being a dictator. Many people have been very scared that he would have been a dictator. But what did he do? He walked in the very interest of the people. If Mr. Gonsalves literally had done that, walked with the very interest of the people, obviously I would have been part of it. And I'm saying, hey, my brother, don't put me in the road, because I'm telling you that we had representation, which was different, because there's a difference between an opposition and a government. And when you are in a government, You're powerful. You have the treasury. You have everybody on your side. But you need somebody to be able to expose the wrong. And that is what Gonzalez did. I'm not talking here that I want that style of politics. How could I want dictatorship? We're seeing dictatorship in the NDP. They don't listen to us. When you come here and you make constructive criticism, they call me and they say all kind of bad things about you.
The NDP is not a monolithic party.
I don't care what
Right.
I am saying.
But you want more.
I am not saying what you. I am saying in the poll I did. I could call names of past politicians. I don't want trouble. I could tell you lawyers. I could spoke. Like we talked about the same matter. I could tell you the people in the newspaper what they felt. I called all of them. And they're saying they're not happy. And I'm saying, what is it? You think Mr. Dr. Friday is any kind of a NDP business? This is a man paid over almost $100,000 in our taxpayers' money to do what? To be disorganized and to literally be,
Mr. Hamilton, can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
Are you voting this election?
My sister, I don't know if I want to vote. Because
Why not? Wait, why not? Why not?
Because since I walked away from the ULP, I am having representation in this constituency. I mean, Bennett Frederick was closer, but really and truly mediocre representation. And I've been like voting because I just want to get rid of Ralph Gonsalves. But I'm not voting because I'm seeing people there that give me the impression that they really care about us. And so you're literally voting for the worst of the best of the worst. And I'm saying when I look at the reality of what is happening, what happened before in 2009 when thousands of us went and configured, the yes/no vote. It wasn't necessary because yes or no, we want to change. And I'm only saying, we expect a leadership that can sit with people. You know, in this constituency, I live for 35 plus years. We don't see not one of them on the ground. We don't see no NDP.
One more question for you, Mr. Hamilton, okay?
Yes.
You are a very passionate person. You call in on
why is it, my
station.
sister,
No,
that people
wait,
keep
hold
asking me about
on,
it? I'm not doing anything to be
Mr.
passionate.
Hamilton,
Why are you making
Mr.
passionate sound like a bad thing?
Mr. Hamilton,
Yes.
calm down with me.
Go ahead, my sister. Sorry.
Passion is not a bad thing. Just listen to me where I'm going with this. Thanks, okay? You're a passionate person, which is a good thing. You are standing for what you believe in and you make yourself very clear on where you are at. Okay? When we have persons like you saying, well, I don't know if I voted. Let's say everybody who feels as passionately about things as you do decide they're not going to vote. What do you think is going to happen?
Democracy means that you must be able to decide of your mind whether you want to vote.
Yeah, but I didn't ask you what democracy means. I'm simply asking you. If everyone else decides to not vote, like you're saying you're not sure, what happens?
If they choose not to vote for the NDP and they want to vote for ULP, that is their right.
That is their right. But that's not what I'm asking you.
To suggest, because this individual is saying, I want to get rid of Ralph Gonsalves and I've been for 2 times forced literally to vote for the NDP. You think I'm voting for the NDP because they're magic? I mean, my sister, don't you understand? You can't even get Daniel Cummings.
Mr. Weeks, I feel like I missed a lot of semester Weeks, so my apologies.
This Scottish woman. All of them have literally come like this. You know why a lot of Labour Party people came over. It wasn't magic. They had enough of a dictatorship. You know why a lot of people are going to vote against Donald Trump. Not that they're against the Republican, but they want people that can listen to them. And what we have here in this country is literally dictators on both sides. And every time, you criticize them constructively, is that they encourage people to block you on the radio station. Go ahead.
You have a choice. December 7th or whatever, right? You have to put your X somewhere. Where are you putting your X?
You don't have to put his X.
Let me tell you for sure.
So you're not putting your X anywhere?
Let me tell you for sure what I'm not going to put. Cannot put my X for Ralph Gonsalves and the dictatorship. Cannot. And so if Joachim...
I think you should have a write-in candidate for Stephen Joachim to be Prime Minister.
Well, let me say this.
Write my name down.
I want to vote. I want to in this struggle. I think you would have done a far better job than any of them in that NDP party. I think you would have done a far better job. And my sister here, because what I'm saying, Joachim, I've been listening to you.
Stephen for Prime Minister.
Yeah.
My brother, me tell you something, my brother, I'm speaking to people now in the NDP. They're talking with Dr. Friday kind of style. And I'm saying 90% of them, they're fed up. And I'm only saying, Dr. Friday, please resign. you have Lee Sharp, you have other, I don't know. Give somebody a chance that can represent us. Because
right.
I'm
You
saying
can't give a chance. Hammer. It
Guys,
is 3 or 4 months
we gotta
before an
take a break.
election. Nobody is going to change
We gotta
any
take a
side.
break. We gotta take a break. Mr. Hamilton, thank you so much for
God
your
bless you,
contribution.
Mr.
All right, God bless you.
I love you all.
Woo! All right, come.
Hey, this is Hans John representing for Boom 106.9. The time is now. Drawing the evolution. Don't lock me up, I'm begging you. If I drink and drop, tumbling down, half in top.
Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered? Covered by a company owned by Vincentians that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company. Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered? Covered by a company owned by Vincentians that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company.
Stop the spread of viral infections including the flu and COVID-19 by practicing proper hand washing. Follow these simple steps. Remove all jewelry before washing hands. Wet hands using running water. Place liquid soap in hand. Circulate using rotational movements. Interlace fingers and repeat switching hands. Wash back of fingers, rotating them in the palms. Wash fingertips, rotating them in palms. Wash thumbs using rotational movements. Thoroughly wash hands down to the wrists. Rinse hands. Dry with clean tissue. Turn off tap using tissue. Use tissue to open door and discard in bin. A simple act can make a huge difference. Stop the spread of viral infections including the flu and COVID-19 by practicing proper hand washing. This is a message from the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment.
On point, dropping shade and setting the trends.
You drinking the haterade.
It's the Shade Room with Jill and DJ Shade. on the Evolution Station. Boom 1069.
The Love Zone.
The best R&B jams, period.
Hear it on Boom 1069.
This is Hans John representing for Boom 106.9. The time is now. Drawing the evolution. Don't lock me up, I'm begging you. If I drink and drop, tumbling down, half in top.
Welcome back, Pitbull. I miss you.
We miss you too. We miss you too, girl. I miss you too. Make you never come and look for me out of my boo. Hold on. Wait no more.
You fat boy, done there. You depend some red bad man thing for the ready there and show me it's a bomb. Wild bad, no bomb.
Boy, Pitbull, boy, I mash
up the place, and man, fire. Boy, my radio been dead on for months, and my brother. And since me they hold it today, watch your life, me brother. You mashing up the place, me have to come home and plug up my radio. A big fire, me brother. I want it done, me brother. I want hard fire, man.
You want some fire, man? Hold on,
You people don't have the radio, they do.
Make sure the capacitor big enough. Boy. It's true. No. We broke a record today. Millennium Kid, we broke a record today.
Yeah, come on, man.
We peaked at 575 viewers. Not even in my 10 lifetime I ever get that.
Listen.
Huh? Yeah, it's hard.
And it's less than an hour, eh?
It was less than an hour. Less than an hour, yeah.
Less than an hour.
Big up to the viewers. The viewers.
Big up all the selling.
Yeah, man, the viewers.
Yeah, big up
you guys have energy.
Boom 1069.
Yeah, when you're ready, Jerry, call, please.
Yes, please.
Doctor, her name, the lady's name who's on that famous video, is Dr.
Remind us what the video is
Emmanuel.
about, because some people would have joined us.
Well, I can read the article quickly. Nigerian-born doctor, Dr. Stella Emmanuel, has made an impassioned plea advocating the use of hydrochloroquine and as treatment for COVID-19.
1 second, Jerry.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. Stephen is going to read this article because it's something I want us to discuss, okay?
Okay, sure.
All right.
Dr. Stella Emmanuel made an impassioned plea advocating the use of hydrochloroquine and zinc and zithromycin as a combination. They didn't mention that part. A video of her arguments in support of the controversial treatment has gone viral and has been viewed by over 13 million times on Facebook and YouTube. But both platforms have taken down the video. Regardless, the video is being shared relentlessly on WhatsApp, Twitter, Messenger, and other platforms. Stella Emmanuel is part of a team of medical professionals who attended the America's Doctors Frontline Summit in front of the U.S. Supreme Court in Washington, D.C. on Monday, 27th. Jerry, I could go on, but I'll step back now for you, my friend.
No problem, yeah. I looked at the videos in that presentation she presented, and I do believe I have absolutely no trust for big pharma with America, none. Zero.
Right.
Because even in the case you mentioned, and Stephen, even the case of alternative of supplements, you know, and I think even in our country, like something I'm to check. I was told this. I need to check it myself. That supplements come in at a higher duty rate than other what do you call them? Prescription medicine.
Okay.
Now, it's out there. You mentioned zinc as one of them. There are several things out there that people know work.
Yes. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So why are you charging more for duty for those for supplements?
You know that are good. Yeah. Good point.
Why?
Good point.
But you see, nobody represents it. If somebody told me this some time ago, and I keep saying I must really follow it up and see. Because a lot of stuff now, they're realizing that the chemical-made substances are much more deadly than the simple minerals and stuff that you get. It's the kind of conversation we need to have, otherwise these people take us and use us for their own interest.
Yeah, but I'm just disappointed, Jerry, right, that Facebook and YouTube would take down the video because they claim it is not in where the science is showing them. But this is a medical doctor speaking about her experiences with her 340 patients. I don't understand why anybody...
She said you get these blind tests and they do 20 and 40 people and then they publish it in a peer review. And that's what but she has done it for 340
people, right, correct. But she must be silenced. She must not be allowed to speak out.
Because again, it's the influence of Big Pharma.
Yep,
Big Pharma has reach. No, listen, Big Pharma is huge enough. Huge enough.
Yep.
And even if we think that we get away from it, even in these parts, some of the blood pressure medication and stuff that we still have using. In these other countries, they have said no. But we use them still. Even when drugs are withdrawn and stuff, I don't see our medical people making an issue about doing it. We have some serious issues to catch up on.
What are our doctors going to do when somebody ends up in the hospital? That's what I really would like to know. Because personally, if it's...
everybody with there.
Well, my friend, if from what has happened in the recent past, the doctors will be running as fast as possible. So Let's hope you catch up on and become a coffee.
my thing,
Jerry, you're a terrible human being.
I tell you,
my thing is right. There was a protocol that was being followed for how you manage COVID-19 in terms of stages and all that.
Yep.
Is there a medical protocol now that they have
If you get sick.
suggested for persons who are sick, and if so, do we follow that?
Well, you see, the first thing that has to happen is that they'll have to make a deduction based on the symptoms.
Right.
So somebody comes in sneezing and they have a headache and they have a high temperature and the temperature keeps on, you begin to suspect. And then you have to take all the necessary interventions from there forward. I don't know, but that is what I know to be the rule. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And I say that just now, what I said, Dave, is almost in a jocular fashion, but it happened. It's real.
Yeah.
And it's frightening.
Yep.
Very scary.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the vaccine situation too, because let's say we have a vaccine, and I think Stephen, you mentioned some a doctor, is it who you said it was that was saying something looks possible by September, by as early as
Yeah,
September.
Dr. Fauci was saying that he believes a vaccine will be possible in terms of them being able to say, yes, this thing works.
And then what though? Are we gonna see situations where you can't travel without a vaccine, your kids can't go into school without a vaccine?
I think that's going to happen. Jerry, would you not agree? That is going to happen. You're going to have like a certificate to prove that you've had a
Who
vaccine.
stands to benefit from that? Because I don't think it's gonna be
Big
free.
Pharma stands to benefit.
Yes,
That's who's going to. We know who's going to benefit. Yeah, correct.
And your life, if you want to be able to live your life and move around, then you just have to comply. I hear some people complain about the whole question of the vaccine and stuff. I say to people, listen to me, just get real. Just get real.
Jerry, I want to move on to local politics in a minute, but before I do that, I know you're a good Christian fella, and you know I'm an atheistic fella, and we're friends.
Here we
but
go.
I just want to tell you that a gentleman who I hold in the utmost respect,
yes,
Bassie Alexander, assured me
Good
yesterday,
morning.
my friend Bassie, assured me yesterday that I am going to heaven. And he quoted me Psalm 15, right? A Psalm of David, and it says, Psalm 15. Let me quote, okay? I'm happy about this, This is great stuff, right, Jerry?
Gracious
right.
me.
Lord, who may dwell in thy sacred tent? Who may live on thy holy mountain? This is somebody asking God who's going to get into heaven, right? For people like Jerry who don't understand his Bible properly. Now, I'm helping you, Jerry. The one whose walk is blameless, the one who does what is righteous, who speaks the truth from their heart, whose tongue uses no slander, who does no wrong to a neighbor, and casts no slur on others. Who despises a vile person but honors those who fear the Lord, and who keeps an oath even when it hurts. Jerry, I'm good, buddy.
Well, no,
Jerry's backing off on me now.
No, at all. The only thing is that, yes, I get the sense of all of that. The problem you have there, Stephen, is that who can fulfill all of that all of the time? That's the challenge.
That's a very good point. Yes, we are human beings. We do stupidness
right,
sometimes.
Exactly,
yes.
and that is
You're
why
correct.
the whole question of going to a person's ability to do things, it's based on believing in the Lord Jesus Christ and His blood. That's the shed. That's it.
So in other words, let me fight up with Jerry. So I could do the most horrible things in the world. I could rape my child, right? I could have sex with a 5-year-old child, but because I have given my life to the Lord, I'm going to heaven.
The vilest offender.
See, I'm good shape. Let's go to local politics, Jerry. That's far more before me and you fight up here today.
I told you I do want you a day to come in and discuss this because
the vilest offender who truly believes that moment from Jesus, a pardon received. And it's clear. Remember the thief on the cross? Lord, remember me when you come into your kingdom. The man is on there dying because
Stephen, you're horrible on this topic.
Started off. Jerry, let's talk local politics.
He picked the wrong person to come with it.
Good, that's good.
No, it's just that we are entitled to our own beliefs, and I respect others. I have no
Stephen,
problem with Christians.
We'll move on. We'll move on. But what do you believe in?
Why do I have to? I believe in what? What does it have to?
So you don't believe in?
I do not believe
in
that there is an invisible, gigantic creature out there who created us all. No, I don't. Jerry, let's turn to local politics. A man who looks like us and had nothing better to do with his time. Right, anyway, and watch what he produced. My word. Anyway, this is not good. But didn't produce greatness, huh? Right, Jerry. Mr. Hamilton says he's not voting. Danny's friends said they're not voting, right? Because they don't like the choices before them. What's your views on this, my friend?
Listen.
I said 9-6.
9-6?
9-6
That's what he
for the
says.
ULP. Yeah. Because if people are not
He's
going to go
given
out
his
and
prediction.
vote,
I need to make
if
note of
people
this
are not
prediction.
going to go out and
I'm
vote,
going
Jerry,
to it,
if people are going to make excuses not to vote, then what are you going to do?
But no, but seriously, when somebody says to me, we have a two-party system, and they don't like what is current, but they can't vote for the next side. What kind of stupidness is that?
But that's what so many people are saying.
But it's an excuse. It's an excuse.
No.
Get
to
that.
the status quo.
I don't get
That's
that.
a rubbish excuse. It's stupid.
Why is it stupid, Jerry? I'm fed up around, but I'm fed up around, but I can't vote for the end because they might be even worse.
You have two choices. And then the other point is this one here, and I think you started to make it and maybe I got distracted. When it comes to the question of what the NDP can or cannot do, nobody has seen the NDP in power for
Thank you very much.
maybe 2 decades.
None of these
How you
people
know
have
what
been
they
here.
can do?
None. None.
How you know what they can do?
Yep.
All you
It's an
have
excuse.
to know, the majority of people know is what is currently happening.
Correct.
How could you judge what is currently happening by the people who have never been there?
Correct.
That is so No, it is not.
That's an excuse.
But Jerry,
It is
why
genuine.
why do you think some people genuinely don't seem to have confidence that the NDP can do a good job at governing this country?
I don't know if that people have confidence that NDP can do a good job or cannot do a good job. When Ralph Gonsalves came into office, he had no experience in government, in nothing. Why did people believe he could have done a good job? Has he done a good job? Is the next question that you might ask.
And that is the question that everybody has to ask themselves.
That's the historical reference.
Correct.
That's the 2020 vision, that is hindsight.
Yep.
You see, we must stop all this academic nonsense.
Yep.
We have two political parties.
Yep.
One is
Pick
in
one.
office, and if they're not performing up to your standard, the next choice you have is to go to the other one.
Correct.
No, if it's like, okay, Stephen, let's just say St. Lucia, right?
Yep. I told that's my favorite country, you know.
I'm telling you. Let's just say St. Lucia, right? The last 5 years you had a government,
Yep.
and you switch it out for the next 5 years for the next government.
Yep.
You can judge between the two because
Correct.
when you have a basic 10-year thing.
Yes.
But
Yes.
in a case where the average
Yes.
young person today has never seen
So I said,
an NDP.
if you're under 40 years old, Jerry, you don't know anybody as Prime Minister other than Ralph Gonsalves.
Precisely.
Nobody.
So
Yeah.
how could you tell me that you could judge that they will
Yep.
not do a good job based on
Thank
what?
you. Yep.
And so let me go further and I can say this. When I will never forget, I was a youngster when Sir James came out to the NDP for election. I remember the Sunday distinctly when they're coming into the election. Nobody really there until John Hahn was presented. All of a sudden, everything changed. For a set of people that nobody did really know. And they ran the country for what, 17 years? So let's start
17 years. Yep.
All right?
Okay,
We
and
have a set of people, and we have to work with them.
There's another perspective that I've gotten to from some of the persons I've spoken to, and they say, listen, I don't know how I feel about the last election. I'm still undecided of if I think it was fair. And so,
What do you
if
mean
it
by fair?
wasn't-
What does that term mean by
There
fair?
are some people who feel like the results of the last election was not necessarily accurate. I'm just saying
Okay.
what people
I'm
have
one of
expressed to
those,
me.
I
Oh,
am
you're
one
one
of
of
those.
those.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Okay.
correct.
Correct.
And they're saying, listen, my vote not going to make a difference. So why am I going to
That's
fight up and
interesting.
go and vote
Okay.
if
Jerry, answer
That's
that
not
one. That's a
fair.
good point, Jerry. Let me hear your comment on that one.
But that is nonsense. People vote as individuals. The whole country, every individualist vote is what is counted. I mean, your vote ain't going to make a difference.
But if it's not going to be fair, if
the counting process is not fair. Let's not talk about the election being fair as opposed to the counting process being fair. There's two different things going
Two
on there.
different
Right?
things. Yes, right. Two different things. And the question, the point to be focused on here is, okay, the only how you can ensure that you have a better control over the count is the more people who go and vote. The less people who go
Correct.
vote gives a better opportunity
Correct.
for people to steal the election.
Correct.
So don't come give me that nonsense about the damn thing. How people don't say that kind of thing with the money? It's that holiday,
That's a good point.
People give me them foolish stuff.
Jerry, do you have any predictions? Like Stephen has a prediction on the numbers?
That's closer.
Jerry, don't lie to me now.
No, seriously, I have not thought of it in that context.
Not yet.
I don't believe you. Jerry, this is the first time I think you're actually lying to me. On air, that is.
Oh, he lies to you privately.
On air, that is. Yeah.
Oh my God, I can't believe Daniel has pushed me into this corner.
I just want you to be honest. What is your...
I have told you, no, I am telling you seriously, I have not thought of the elections in terms of those kinds of outcomes. No, I haven't. I seriously haven't given enough thought to that. But as Stephen quite rightly said, closer to the time, and I believe closer to the time is more like 40, 60 days.
Yeah, I think once the bell rings, you'll begin to get a better feel for if there's any kind of swing or not. You will not feel it, no. When the Prime Minister calls it...
say 40 to 60 days we go.
Exactly. Yeah, that's when you will have a better idea if people have had enough or if they want to keep the Prime Minister there.
That's something
I tell you what election is. This man is getting a little bit dumb on me. I telling you, forecasting the election, he's going to tell about...
Repeat it?
40 to 60 days.
40 to 60 days.
Jerry, somebody asked a question here, right? They said, as far as you're aware, does the giveaways that we see here, that happens every 5 years, the label of giveaways, the galvanized Avon cement, they're asking, does this happen anywhere else in the Caribbean civilization that you're aware of? Is this a common thing in other islands?
Stephen, I've had the opportunity over over 10 years for sure of practically domiciling in quite a number of the Caribbean countries. Sometimes during election times, other times I have a chance to look. No other country does this crap. None.
Nobody has this type of program?
And in fact, in Dominica, where they attempted something, they have what they call the Red Clinic and all these kind of things. They have been taken to court. The matter is in court for treating. And the treat.
Treating. Not cheating, eh?
That's a
for
new word.
treating.
That's
his thing. That's his thing.
Right? When I fought for the term, it's a legal term. Treating.
Treating. I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
I didn't know it was a legal term.
Treating.
Learn something every day.
Treating.
Okay.
And the matter has just the appeal against it, and the appeal who turned it down and says, no, you're right. So they're going to go at it again. Now, they have to be worried. Here's why it's a worrying situation, because it's a criminal offense. So they pointed out, for example, when you bring in Buju Banton, they call that treating, and they say it's illegal, because you're trying to use that to get votes. Yes.
That's
This
interesting.
is in law, you know.
That is fascinating.
Yeah. This is in law.
Never heard of
I'm
this
not kidding
before.
you. Yes.
Wow.
It's in law.
Wow.
And Tony Atherton nearly went crazy when the people threw it out the other day, because if they are convicted, it's a criminal offense. Okay?
Wow. That's interesting.
But you see, we try to hide ours behind things like Life to Live, so it looks like more of a government program. It's not a government program. It's a party political program. And people could call it whatever they want. That is what it is.
Jerry, I don't know if you have any information. Just something that I've been thinking about recently. Do you know when was the last time a census was carried out?
Yeah, we had a census.
Yeah, about 12 years ago, Jerry.
Yeah. But our census was a very curious thing, you know.
Yeah, remember there was a fire?
Right. Well, is it important for a census? How regular should one be carried out?
Under the Constitution every 10 years.
Well, it's not even a constitution.
It's not
a worldwide problem. No, it's a worldwide. Well, it could fit part of that, but it's a worldwide thing where the world counts itself every 10 years.
Yeah.
Now, since we've done the last census, I think somebody didn't like what the information they got when they did the first census. I ain't going no further.
Wait. Hold up, wait. What?
We have to do it over.
What did you say? Go, hey, go back. What did you say? I didn't hear.
Today's not Thursday, no.
He said let me repeat what he said. Somebody didn't like the results of the census they got. He thinks that's his thing.
Why?
I think.
Well, there was an accident. There was a fire that happened afterwards.
Oh, yes, that was
We're
Steve
all,
Best.
we're all there. I'm not saying that. I'm not like Jerry here.
Wait,
I'm
wait,
not
wait,
saying
wait. Okay,
that.
now we're getting into some waters here.
But there was a fire where boxes that had the census results in it were all burned down. You remember that
So we
too?
have to do another census.
Right, you forgot that. That was the census results. So I don't know what happened after that.
So, okay, my next question now.
Hold on, wait before we go to the next question. Do you know that in spite of all of that, when the second census was done, that second census was not even properly presented to
I
the
didn't know
country.
there was a second census.
Yes, there was a second census.
Okay.
When was the second census done?
It happened maybe a year after, something like that. I can't remember exactly.
I can't remember that either.
But what I'm saying is that those results were never properly presented to the country.
Okay.
Somebody doubt me.
I ain't doubting. I don't know to doubt you, but
go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. In terms of carrying out a census, how important is that in relation to an election process?
It is important because what a census should give you is the real subdivision of the country.
Right.
And where they're located in the country.
Right.
Right.
Its location, its socio-economic things and all of that. You should get all that coming through from a census.
Yep.
The age, the different age bands in the country, all of that you need to know because it's a part of the development of the country. If you use that data, and that's why it's done worldwide, you use that data in terms of development. So, for example, when the World Bank or some other organization is going to help St. Vincent, they look at data out of the census, to know what areas they think we should focus our attention on. So that if the country asks them, for example, for help for the elderly, they would look at the census and say, okay, what is the situation with elderly people in St. Vincent? Do you understand? So they have
That's very interesting because so many questions are popping up in my mind now because now So if you don't have an accurate census,
right? Yes.
How accurate is your voters list and your registration process and keeping those valuable pieces of information to ensure that the election
Well, we know the voters
process
list is a disaster. We know that. Last I heard, Jerry, we had 96,000 people on the voters list last I heard.
If you think that is a disaster, last week, Julian Francis in a meeting that included the supervisor of elections admitted that his party had a different list to the list that the NDP had. I have never heard that in my life. And he said they had a different list because of the strategy, and he's not going to tell anybody what their strategy is. Really? Really? Let me tell you something. You see, a lot of people talk about what is going on in Guyana now, right? Mm-hmm. But Guyana had all those issues where when the government started to prepare for the election, they decided that they were going to do a complete clean list. So they were going house to house to do tabulation. The opposition objected, went to court, saying that they were trying to take people's names off the court, and the court said, listen, leave the list as they are. Mm-hmm. That is what gave rise to what we have today, where you have the bloated list and all that, dead people voting and stuff. That is what that kind of stuff gives rise to. Yeah. I mean, never see.
And there is a talk just before elections, Jerry, and there is never in the history that I am aware of where there has been a serious attempt to clean up the voters list. Right after the election, as far as I am aware, nobody has ever made a serious effort to clean it up.
No, I am hoping that should the NDP get into power, that they will follow that up. And the second thing I would like to see, but they have to have hope. And the second thing I'm going to hold the feet of the NDP to is getting rid of that 15-day period.
I agree. That's ridiculous. But that benefits the party that's in power, Jerry.
Serious. No, I'm saying
that benefits the party in power, so they're going to keep it too.
I hear you, but they complain, and I want, and all of us know what could happen in that 15-day period. There is no way you could be assured of who's registered. You cannot be assured.
Can't do it in that time frame.
Especially in marginal constituencies. So I hope the NDP is ready to deal with that, because I'm going to be calling on them once I realize to ask to deal with it.
They won't.
Jerry, I got a question for you here. Well, somebody's making a statement. Jerry, why are you lying? You know that the NDP used to give away the same galvanized and lumber, etc. during general elections.
I'm not going to answer that. There's some things I don't deal with and I don't answer. No. I just don't have no time with that. Let the person tell me the project that the NDP had that is anywhere close to what is happening now with this administration? Tell me.
As somebody
Every
else,
party at some point will have, they might help out a person here and help out a person here. But what we have is a wholesale, large-scale treating.
My attitude is, if the NDP did it, and I have no doubt that they did similar things,
Yeah,
but nowhere
exactly.
near on this scale.
That's
But my
what we're
point
talking
is, it
about.
was wrong then, and it is still wrong now, and it's getting more wrong, not better.
Exactly. Exactly. The scale at which this is being done.
Yeah, we can't
5
justify
million.
wrong because somebody else did it. That's not the way to justify things.
okay, we have another comment here. NDP's dishonesty about the last election's result is coming back to haunt them. Why should you vote for NDP and the elections are going to be stolen? You have to be very brave to be an NDP agent in these elections.
That's a really sad comment, though. That's a very sad comment.
It's a sad comment, but some of the logic has lost me, but that's okay.
Yeah,
Jerry, here's the only thing I have to say about the last elections, right? And you've heard me say this numerous times, and people disagree with me. I did not see the evidence of wholesale cheating that was alleged. What I did, the question I have to ask is a very simple one. In Central Leeward, we sat there watching the elections results come in. We heard not a single result from Central Leeward until an hour or so after all the other results that came in. Correct? Roughly.
I remember that.
And I remember that. And then suddenly all the results come in at once. Now, if that doesn't raise questions in your mind, then certainly, you said that should never happen again in this country. That should never happen again, because that just says, boy, what the heck? It just raises questions in your brain. You say, what the hell happened here?
But hold on, Stephen, that is, let me kind of zero in close on that. At the same time all of this is happening, Peter Wickham, who is the person who knows the come to every constituency in this country, because that's what he gets paid to do.
That's what he does. Mm-hmm.
We had Dr. Scott on there with him.
Yep.
They both made the point, because these people do the analyzing of the count, that this election is coming between 6 and 10 votes. All of a sudden, the same seat that was supposed to be coming with 6 to 10 votes came with 300 odd votes. The next day in the recount, you hear that there were 300 odd votes in the box that should not have been there. And when the returning officer was asked about it, he said, well, I know they shouldn't be there, but I count them because I say what is good for the goose is good for the gander. You want to tell me anything is more conclusive than that in your mind? Well, if anybody needs anything more conclusive than that, they're really not thinking. From saying that the election, that seat should have been won between 6 and 10 votes, to being won with over 300 votes, to find out the next day that the 300 votes were illegal votes, but that the returning officer decided to count them. And I want to tell me that, and why this important? Because we're talking about an election that has a one-seat majority. Yeah?
Okay, we got another one on WhatsApp here. Wait, somebody's asking, Jerry, Miss Batiste, and Ivan parties, do they no longer exist?
Miss Batiste? Oh,
Green Party still exists, for sure.
Yeah, but why they asking me?
Well, Jerry, you're the one with the T. You're the one with the info.
No, we know Green Party exists for sure and is continuing on. We know that. They publish in the paper every week and so on, but I'm not sure Mrs. Batista's party still going on. As a matter of fact, I haven't heard anything about her in a couple of years now.
I haven't either.
She seems to have vanished off the political scene.
Maybe she's decided that she had her time and her party.
Yeah, time to move on.
But what I would say to that person is this, is that it has proven in the Caribbean that multi-parties do not work.
Yeah.
Although somehow I think we need to begin to make them work, because this two-party thing,
Yeah, but our mentality wouldn't allow that to work, Jerry. It's our mentality that's the problem.
That's the problem.
Yep.
You know, I was at a conference just let me say this quickly, I was at a conference by the World Bank in Jamaica. And in our group was the guy who led the Seychelles group. And he made a very important point I never forget, and I went to talk to him about it afterwards. He said, listen, when the British were giving us independence, they determined that there were not going to be two parties. We had to have at least 3 or 5 parties. Mm-hmm. He said, because the British realized that didn't work in you guys' area over here. and perhaps if we had a situation where we had 3 parties for people to choose, we won't get the kind of stuff that is happening now.
Yeah, but Jerry, that's not going to happen in our lifetimes.
There was a third party that
there was a PPM
they got some votes, right?
There was PPM once, that was Ken Boy and Stocky.
Right, yeah.
They got a little bit of votes,
yeah. They got a little bit of votes.
Yeah.
What happened to them?
That was basically a party run by Ken Boy. And that just died because there was no long-term planning for survival of the
remember that.
party.
I don't remember much, but I remember that.
Remember that party came just about the same time, a little after when Ralph had literally taken over the Labour Party.
That's,
Okay.
Right? And so they were trying to get the old Labour going and see what drive they had in it.
Yeah.
But let me tell you something. Once a person gets in government in these government countries, they kill off opposition parties.
Absolutely correct. That's the idea. Destroy the opposition. Correct. Yep. That's the idea. Yep.
Jerry, whoa, we're way over time.
Yeah.
Straight up. I know. No. Straight up.
God.
Take care,
right.
Jerry.
Yes, take care, Jerry. So, Stephen, very interesting conversation with Jerry. To be honest, though, I'm just carrying on this conversation because I have to drag something over here. So I'm just going to be very honest about it. I do know what I'm doing.
Again.
But Mario hasn't done everything that he's supposed to be doing here.
That's
so
normal,
I'm just
isn't it?
lingering
That's
on.
big
But I've
honest
dragged it
complaint.
over,
you're
so we
saying
could
the
go
biggest
now.
speaking the truth now. So now we can take the break. Okay, all right.
All right, we're coming back. We're going to do this real quick. OMG in the morning. Keep it locked on.
Boom, 1069. You are now officially part of the evolution.
Okay, seriously. All right, Jacko. The streets just called, man. They said I need somebody that's charismatic, energetic, and with enough hype to fill 4,000 people. Who do you have?
I gave you hyperactive songs. So you said you wanted the best? These are the best. Let's make radio great again.
Boom 1069.
Demo everybody with there. Big up my crew on IKTV, big up my live again. Facebook live. Keep it going and I like to see them Vincy flag. You know why? Because we're going to play brand new Vincy soca tunes right now. I want to big up my Sign Hill crew right now. This are Bad and a crew. Big up my whole junction and this next one. It's soca we say for life. Come to bed. YMC. Do something. Junction man. Anytime this we can go outside. Listen this. Could that be a damn bum chick? You shake it. Could that be your damn bum Don't know my style already. YMC. Do something. Anytime this we can go outside. Could that be a damn bum chick? You shake it. Could that be your girl bum sick? You shake it. Could that be the stage and bar? You shake it. Soca music where you start. We shake it. Soca make me shake. Start shake. Soca make me shake. What shake? Soca make me shake. Start shake. And create a quick. What shake? Soca make me shake. What shake? Soca make me shake. Start shake. Soca make me shake.
This is Hans John representing for Boom 106.9. The time is now drawing the evolution. Don't lock me up, I'm begging you. If I drink and drop, somebody jump. Half in top.
Know we have to take over.
Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered? Covered by a company owned by Vincentians that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrocent General Insurance Company.
Them know we have to take over.
Boom. Boom. 1069. You are now officially part of the evolution.
This is Hans John representing for Boom 106.9. The time is now drawing the evolution. Don't lock me up, I'm begging you. If I drink and drop, somebody dump half in top.
Okay, seriously. Alright? Jacko, the streets just called, man. They said I need somebody that's charismatic, energetic, and with enough hype to fill 4,000 people. Who do you have?
I gave you hyperactive songs. So you said you wanted the best? These are the best. Let's make really great again.
Boom 1069.
Yo, well, you don't know now. This is the Super Dog, and guess who's back? Inside the Boom Drive 1069. Yeah, man.
You could never fire the best DJ and expect people to listen to you.
No!
Hey!
Jesus! What did you just say there?
Let's go back to the talking now, people.
I want to know what this person just said on
Jesus!
Say that again. Say it again.
You could never fire the best DJ and expect people to listen to you. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Turn up the thing, Pitbull.
Run style, bad man! Run style!
Boom 1069.
Stop the spread of viral infections, including the flu and COVID-19, by practicing proper hand washing. Follow these simple steps. Remove all jewelry before washing hands. Wet hands using running water. Place liquid soap in hand. Circulate using rotational movements, interlace fingers, and repeat switching hands. Wash back of fingers, rotating them in the palms. Wash fingertips, rotating them in palms. Wash thumbs using rotational movements. Thoroughly wash hands down to the wrists. Rinse hands. Dry with clean tissue. Turn off tap using tissue. Use tissue to open door and discard in bin. A simple act can make a huge difference. Stop the spread of viral infections, including the flu and COVID-19, by practicing proper hand washing. This is a message from the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment.
As a doctor and first responder in the fight against COVID-19, we use the N95 mask to protect ourselves and our patients. We are therefore asking you, the public, not to use or abuse the N95 mask. They are exclusively for medical and nursing personnel. Help us to save you and to save ourselves.
Demo everybody with there. Big up my crew on IKTV, big up my live again. Facebook live. Keep it going and I like to see them Vincy flag. You know why? Because we're going to play brand new Vincy soca tunes right now. I want to big up my Sign Hill crew right now. This are bad and a crew. Big up my whole junction and this next one. It's soca we say for life. Come to bed.
Already. YMC. Do something. Junction man.
Anytime this we can go outside. Listen to this.
Could that be a damn club chick? You shake it. Could that be your damn don't know my style already.
YMC.
Do something.
Anytime this we can go outside.
Could that be a damn club chick? You shake it. Could that be your girl bum sick? You shake it. Could that be the stage and bar? You shake it. So come music. This is Hans John representing for Boom 106.9. The time is now drawing the evolution. Don't lock me up, I'm begging you. If I drink and drop, tumbling down, half in top.
So the reason why we in healthcare use this mask, the N95 mask, is because we have a prolonged contact and continuous contact with the ill. A prolonged contact is considered within 1 meter of the patient and for more than 15 minutes. And you know, healthcare workers, we would have to keep doing this. Also, we'll be doing aerosolized procedures. You may have to nebulize someone, so we need a little bit more protection, and that's why we use the N95 mask. While caring for someone at home, always remember, even though you're using this mask, that your contact should really be minimal. And it does protect you in the case of corona because the virus is quite big and very unlikely to pass to and from this mask. And that's why the patient would wear it and the person providing care will wear it.
On point, dropping shade and setting the trends.
You drinking the haterade.
It's the Shade Room with Jill and DJ Shady. DJ on the Evolution Station. Boom 1069.
The Love Zone.
The best R&B jams, period.
Hear it on Boom 1069.
This is Hans John representing for Boom 106.9. The time is now drawing the evolution. Don't lock me up, I'm begging you. If I drink and drop, tumbling down, half in top.
Boom 1069. You are now officially part of the evolution.
Okay, seriously. Alright? Jacko, the streets just called, man. They said I need somebody that's charismatic, energetic, and with enough hype to fill 4,000 people. Who do you have?
I gave you hyperactive songs. So you said you wanted the best? These are the best. Let's make really great again.
Boom 1069.
I guess I see it a little bit different.
What do you see as arrogant?
I remember, you might not know a gentleman named Muhammad Ali, the world's greatest athlete in my humble opinion. Great boxer. You're too young to remember him, of course, right?
Too young to remember anything.
Muhammad Ali was terrific. But I remember he used to get accused of being arrogant, this and this. And I said, well, if you can back it up, you're not being arrogant, you know. And I think people who have confidence and belief in themselves and are willing to express themselves
like
in a
Shady.
certain manner get accused of arrogance. If you're good at
Shady
what you
is
do, there's
arrogant.
nothing wrong with what you do. Well, if you're good at what you do,
But he's good at what he does.
If you're good at what you do and you can back it up, I don't see that. I see that as good arrogance. I see that as a good thing.
But then that's not. Hold on. You said you see it as good arrogance.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's bad arrogance and good arrogance.
Yeah, if the only bad arrogance is if you can't back it up. In which case, you're not really arrogant. You're just bragging. You're just bragging.
Okay. So what is Bing?
So there's
then?
a difference. Bing is the best at what he does in the morning. On a
Right.
morning
Hey,
show, on a morning radio show. He's
wait.
terrific
Did
at
Stephen
that.
just say that? I
No,
think
but
I have
that's
the
the only-
applause thing
but
over here.
Other than that, wow, that was very impressive, Danny. You know how to
I
hit
got
those-
it over
wow.
here.
I
Shady,
didn't
I
know
don't
you could
need
do
you.
those kind of things. I didn't know you could- wow. No, but you know, but I'll tell you something. Since you raised my friend Bing's name up, huh? If Bing doesn't lose weight, if Bing does not lose weight, his situation only gets worse. So that for anybody with diabetes, who have serious diabetes issues, who has to take insulin shots, the only way you deal with this is to lose weight and change your lifestyle. Otherwise, we know where you're headed.
I think he
We
can
know
exercise
where
with you.
you're
You say
headed.
you walk, you do walk,
Yeah,
you,
but I'm
you
not going
jog
for
or
a stroll.
something.
I'm walking and exercise, and I don't
Yeah.
have time to chat when I'm walking because I'm too
He
tired
wants
breathing.
to chat while he's.
I wouldn't know, but that's not my idea of walking.
Right,
but I'm
but
telling
you can encourage
if
him
you
to
are
join you.
obese, if you are obese and you are fat, and you choose to live that kind of life and lifestyle, you are going to pay a price later for it. It will bad health.
Right.
Right? As I like to say, you see lots of fat 30-year-olds around. You see fat 40-year-olds around. You don't see too many fat 60 and 70-year-olds around. There's a reason for that. They're dead.
Oh, jeez. Stephen.
It is the truth. Walk around Kingston and see if I'm lying, Shady. Walk around and take a look. Go and see.
Lightening up your morning.
Why will we never
lightening
talk about
up the morning.
Why don't we talk
You know,
about those things though? People's health matters.
I agree.
If we say we love people and whatever, your health matters. If you don't look after yourself, if you don't get, and you live in a country where everywhere you walk is like a mountainside.
Oh
There's no
gosh, tell me
excuse
about
to
it.
be fat. There is none.
So why
get
don't you
yourself in
encourage
order.
your good friend to walk with you?
Bing? Bing said he was coming a couple times and never showed up. Never show. You know Bing already.
I do.
But this is only going to end one way, and it's going to end ugly. I'm telling you that now.
we
When
gotta-
you die because you're overweight or whatever, that's not really so bad, you know. It's if you have a stroke and you can't move half your body anymore, and you need people to wipe your backside again from when you were a child. This thing gets really ugly. Dying is the easy part. Death is the easy part. It gets far worse. So people can get upset with me if they like. Make an effort to get yourself in order, right? Look at the people who live long lives. Most of them. I mean, my ex-wife Nydia, her grandfather lived to about over 100 years old.
Oh.
In good shape. So James Mitchell is now 89, I believe. Look at him. He's in decent shape.
Yeah.
He swims, he
I
exercises,
didn't know that's how
he
old
reads a
he-
lot.
he
It works. You don't, again, go and check if I'm wrong. Go walk around and see how many. Look at our Prime Minister. You know, it's a miracle he's still alive. And I say that out of great concern, right? You know, that you need to do a much better job of looking after yourself. When you're 70-something years old and you're carrying that much weight, you know the amount of stress in your heart and your internal organs? Ask a medical doctor. They will tell you the difference. These are just facts of life. You know, and we need to talk more about that. We need to tell people.
But do you encourage Bing and other friends that you have to do these things?
I don't have any friends. But speaking of Bing in particular, I've spoken to Bing numerous times. It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
He doesn't listen to you.
Doesn't listen. Or they listen,
wonder
but
if
they
that's
do
him
nothing
calling,
about
but I
it.
hope
Because it takes a
he's
little bit of an
resting.
effort.
It
takes a little an effort, you know, to do it.
And it's,
you know, and it's far easy to just go along and keep eating
right,
crap, keep
especially if
drinking too much alcohol.
It's not a part of your.
We're glorifying rum
normal
drinking in this
process.
country. You know what rum does to your insides?
Oh,
I have seen it. I have cousins of mine who've died.
Shady,
They're
you
alcoholics.
don't want to listen to this
I have
part.
seen what rum does.
I'm a social drinker.
Again, you don't exactly
Okay.
correct. Me too. I'll drink a glass of wine, maybe a beer, whatever, right? But You know what rum does to you.
Gosh, the
We
amount
know
of
what it does
rum
to your
I've had
insides.
in life.
We all in this country know alcoholics. And again, what quality of life are they leading? Never mind length of life, but quality of life.
Two different things.
Well, some they go together sometimes.
Hmm.
Hard to get good quality for very long if you're in rough shape all the time and you're too lazy to make an effort to go and walk for half an hour a day. Walk up and down some of these mountainsides. It doesn't take a lot. Cut back on the amount of salt you're eating. Cut back on the
Well, I
sugar you're
want
eating.
to
Cut back on the
advise you to
alcohol.
continue to encourage your friend to walk with you. Even though he doesn't show up,
Wouldn't make a difference.
maybe one of these days he will. What happened, Shady?
I say someday you probably would.
Yeah.
Yeah, someday.
So don't stop
I will be dead
extending the
before that
invitation.
happens. I will be, and I'm 50, so hopefully I have another 17 years
No,
left.
listen. Keep inviting him.
I will.
But for now, we just have to hope that, you know,
Let's
he's
take the
gonna
last
be
one.
oh. Yeah, before you abandon
have
me
to
like
go and leave you
everybody
alone.
else.
Correct.
Everybody
Yeah,
else is
everybody's
just
abandoned
leaving me in here. Hello,
Yeah.
good morning.
Good morning, my sister. Two quick things, I just want to know. I sent a document specifically for you yesterday. Remember you asked me about Syncet? I hope you get that document, you read it properly because you'd see the protocols and why is it that they're so effective.
I'll check in.
One question to my brother. My brother, do we talk the economy now? We talk economy, debt, unemployment rate, inflation rate, the budget, deficit. We could talk also what is really the overdraft limit at the NCB Bank. How are we paying salary? What is happening with the statutory bodies? What is really happening with cost of living?
And we'll have that discussion
Let me have a discussion on that now. It's very important.
All right.
God bless you.
Thanks
Thank
a
you very
lot.
much, man. God bless.
Danny, I have to run, so I'm
I
going to leave you
know.
alone. But
Abandon
Shady
me.
has come in.
Again,
Flex
Flex
abandoned
left
you too.
me.
Flex
Bing
left you to
left
everybody.
me.
Yeah.
Mr. Weeks said he couldn't call
He left
today.
you. Mr. Weeks
You
left
know,
you. Everybody.
all
Bing,
but it's
Mr.
all right,
Weeks,
isn't it?
Flex,
It's
Naomi.
okay. It's okay.
But we left
Now
you in better
you-
hands. Shady could replace all four of us.
Really?
Yep, we have
Shady.
confidence in his abilities.
That's a lot. But as I was saying, you were getting some love.
Yes.
You know, so
it's reality.
They
You
love you. Somebody say love listening to Steven. Steven is
yeah.
so great.
Yeah.
Steven is the best.
Oh, yeah. Boost my ego. Boost my ego. Boost my ego. And I'm
Oh
gone.
my
You all take
gosh.
care, guys. Have a great day.
Yes, have a good day as well. Okay, and we're going to jump for a quick break here. Still to come, we've got Dr. Richards. He's going to be coming up shortly right here on OMG. This is Boom 1069.
Boom, what? Boom, what? 1069. You are now officially part of the evolution.
Okay, seriously. All right? Jacko, the streets just called, man. They said I need somebody that's charismatic, energetic, and with enough hype to fill 4,000 people. Who do you have?
I gave you hyperactive songs. So you said you wanted the best? These are the best. Let's make really great again.
Boom 1069.
This is Hans John representing for Boom 106.9. The time is now drawing the evolution. Don't lock me up, I'm begging you. If I drink and drop, tumbling down, half in top.
Them know we have to take over.
Boom, what? Boom, what? 1069. You are now officially part of the evolution.
Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered? Covered by a company owned by Vincentians that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company.
The Love Zone.
The best R&B jams, period.
Hear it on Boom 1069.
On point, dropping shade and setting the trends.
You drinking the haterade.
It's the Shade Room with Jill and DJ Shady. On the Evolution Station. Boom 1069.
So the reason why we in healthcare use this mask, the N95 mask, is because we have a prolonged contact and continuous contact with the ill. A prolonged contact is considered within 1 meter of the patient and for more than 15 minutes. And you know, healthcare workers, we would have to keep doing this. Also, we'll be doing aerosolized procedures. You may have to nebulize someone, so we need a little bit more protection, and that's why we use the N95 mask. While caring for someone at home, always remember, even though you're using this mask, that your contact should really be minimal. And it does protect you in the case of corona because the virus is quite big and very unlikely to pass to and from this mask. And that's why the patient would wear it and the person providing care will wear it.
Stop the spread of viral infections, including the flu and COVID-19, by practicing proper hand washing. Follow these simple steps. Remove all jewelry before washing hands. Wet hands using running water. Place liquid soap in hand. Circulate using rotational movements, interlace fingers, and repeat switching hands. Wash back of fingers, rotating them in the palms. Wash fingertips, rotating them in palms. Wash thumbs using rotational movements. Thoroughly wash hands down to the wrists. Rinse hands. Dry with clean tissue. Turn off tap using tissue. Use tissue to open door and discard in bin. A simple act can make a huge difference. Stop the spread of viral infections, including the flu and COVID-19, by practicing proper hand washing. This is a message from the Ministry of Health, Wellness, and the Environment.
Boom 1069. You are now officially part of the evolution.
Okay, seriously. All right? Jacko, the streets just called, man. They said I need somebody that's charismatic, energetic, and with enough hype to fill 4,000 people. Who do you have?
I give you hyperactive songs. So you said you wanted the best? These are the best. Let's make radio great again.
Boom 1069.
Demo everybody with there. Big up my crew on IKTV, big up my live again. Facebook live. Keep it going and I like to see them Vincy flag. You know why? Because we're going to play brand new Vincy soca tunes right now. I want to big up my Sign Hill crew right now. This are bad and a crew. Big up my whole junction and this next one. It's soca we say for life. Come to bed.
Soca music where you start. We shake it, soca make we shake, start shake. Soca make we shake, one shake. Soca make we shake, start shake. And create a quick, good shake. Soca make we shake, one shake. Soca make we shake, start shake. Soca make we shake, good shake. And create a quick.
Don't know my style now. I'm feeling like digital, so you know we shake to win. First thing I do climb a tree, and then I go shake a limb. When junction they on the scene, every girl have to shake a thing. Moving like you a break a thing, shaking like it's all fake a thing.
A damn love shit, you shaking it. Could that be your girl boxing? You shaking it. Could that be the stage?
And I like how the life shaking right now.
Music where you start.
45 more to go.
Soca make me shake, start shake. Soca make me shake.
Now we go 400.
Start shake. And create a quick. Soca make me shake. One shake.
Jasper, where you up on this track, boy? Jasper.
How are you shake it like a tambourine? Baby girl, what's your scene? Shake it like a Molly Lux. And don't you shake it. Shake it like a lotto ball. Money long and motion sharp.
This is Hans John representing for Boom 106.9. The time is now. Drawing the evolution.
Don't lock me up, I'm begging you. If I drink and drop, somebody dump. Half in
Boom. Boom. 1069. You are now officially part of the evolution.
Intellect, but he didn't bring up his equal or find his equal. Many of the other important symbols in the society were destroyed along the way too, such as woman. There is no mother nature. There's no mother of the nation today that should read. Many of our great women were demeaned and destroyed by this leadership. For a society to grow, you can't just have the intellect. You need the mother, you need the journalist, you need the voice. But symbols have been destroyed. It's Ralph or nothing. This fact is why there will be a battle for the next leadership of the ULP and why Ralph cannot retire. We need an environment that identifies and grows the symbol of our nation and grows their alternates and others who can work with them. But that's not SVG in my opinion, at least not in this day and age, and we are running out of time. That was a quick WhatsApp message. On the call with me right now is Dr. Richards. Good morning, Pastor.
Hey, good morning, Danielle.
How are you doing?
I'm doing much better than I was yesterday, actually.
Oh, really? There we go. And I couldn't tell yesterday that
well,
you weren't
yesterday
good.
you operated on 2 hours sleep. You're not really lucid. You don't think too clearly and all of that. But I think I got my 5 hours in. I think so.
Do you know who you're preaching to right now?
The
choir. The choir. Listen, that is right up my alley right
Oh,
there.
you are learning to get by in 2 and 3 hours of sleep,
I
huh?
do not know how I am currently here. Most
well,
days.
I think I got up. I think I got my usual 5. I mean, usually when I get 5, I'm good to go.
But isn't that below what you're supposed to get, right?
No, when you age, I'm not 20 anymore. So when you age, you find young people need 2 things primarily. They need, I'm telling you, food. I mean, they eat like it's a raging fire, and they also need sleep, and that's because their growth spurt is so phenomenal during the teenage. And to produce that amount of growth, you need to rest because it really tires you out, and you need to eat to fuel the growth.
Right.
But after you get past a certain age, let me not define for people, you don't need, you're not growing, you don't need that much food. So one of the things I've noticed is that, when I was in my 20s, I could kill it. I could kill, the food. But when you get, it's just like, well, you eat when you have to. Most of them you eat because you enjoy something. You eat a little bit of it. And way too soon you're filled and you're like, well, I can't eat anymore. And then sleep too. You would notice, especially for guys, that the older you get, the less that you You don't need to be sleeping 8 hours at all. You're not a teenager anymore. So.
Wow, I wish I could release that. I need it. I need that, Pastor. Trust me, it's rough.
Yeah, but after a while, either you get used to the routine or he grows up,
yeah.
and therefore, you get past that stage, and then you deal with running behind him all day long.
Let's not don't call it on me just yet. I'm taking my time to get there.
Your time to get there, okay, my dear.
Now, Pastor, have you been listening to our discussion this morning? You got a chance to listen?
Yes, in fact, let me say, Danielle, I have to make this clear because it is not always that I get to listen. You would understand that.
Yes.
I mean, people, even this morning, people are in and out and all of that. But yesterday morning, for example, a lot of calls came in, and I was on the phone inundated with calls the entire time. And it was not, you would not believe this, it was not until yesterday evening that I discovered that Bing had an incident. I missed all of that. And nobody told me. So I'm just giving a shout up right now to Bing, and I am not sure what the details.
I took it for granted. I'm sorry. I should
I
have
didn't know.
mentioned to you. I really
because,
took it for granted that you probably didn't hear.
Usually what I do, let me just say, usually what I do my thing. If I can listen, I listen right up to the time I come on. But if I am on a call, the call will go right up to 9:29, and then I will say to the person, look, I got to go now, switch gears, and then I will just listen for my drop to play and come in.
During the shift, he expressed that he wasn't feeling too well, so he left sometime almost near 9. So he had to leave. He said that he would be taking the rest of yesterday and today to rest, and that he hopes to be back with us tomorrow morning.
Good for him. I really, I actually prayed for him, for this. This can't be good, easy. Health matters and the uncertainty of certain things. It's got to be frustrating that you can't even, get your spiel going. When I say your spiel, you know what I mean, right? Your stuff. You can't do what makes you tick because, sometimes either the sugar or the pressure. I listened to Stephen this morning, though, and the discussion that you all had just right after 9, and I thought that it was very, very refreshing. It might not be the thing that sells on radio all the time because it seems to me like anytime you say politics, you bring the passion, you bring the energy, you bring the listenership, you bring stuff. But sometimes you get tired of talking politics all the time.
Oh gosh, especially me. I'm not that politic. I don't really like it.
Life is not about that. But I mean, I guess you have to talk about it because it drives the market or whatever. But I've had my fill of that too. And so when Stephen introduced the whole idea of health this morning, I'm like, why can't we just talk about this? Because this is so informative and so refreshing, change of pace, but also so relevant, the health of our people. And in Heron St. Vincent, health maintenance, preventive medicine is not a big thing. I know elsewhere, because people are insured all the time. You just about I shouldn't say just about everyone, but even with Obamacare and all of that, you still have some people who fall through the crack. But by and large, whether it's company insurance, the workplace insurance, where you are, the insurance you get, people are insured, but you get certain, preventative medicine is incentivized, meaning that if you have good routine, good health checks, and other preventative measures in place so that something doesn't blow up along the way, the insurance company actually make it worth your while in terms of the premiums that you pay, in terms of what you pay. They actually they really do make it worth your while to engage in preventive medicine. And not only that, but they provoke that and drive you to that. Their literature, the insurance company actually active in campaigning and pushing their members towards preventive medicine because it changes the bottom line for them in the long run. If they have to pay less hundreds of thousands for people going into the ER or the operating room or to do bypass surgeries or to do organ transplant and all of that, if they can avoid all of these major procedures by advocating and propagating preventive medicine, it's a dollar thing for them, but they win in the long run. And so preventive medicine is big up there. When I lived there, just for a short time I lived there, and I know that that was there for me. Now, in St. Vincent, we have a good time, and not much attention is paid to sugar consumption, sodium, salt consumption, trans fat, diet, exercise. Even this morning before I came on the radio, one of the things that was percolating in my mind is the two major things that affect your health, what you eat, diet and exercise. Diet and exercise matter big time.
Very important.
And so I don't know that we pay attention. Now, part of the reason for us not engaging in preventive health, medicine and health practices is because it's expensive. Whether to join a gym, but then you don't have to join a gym. You could walk up and down the Arnisville stretch, which I see a lot of people doing, getting the exercise there.
And Pastor, that's a good workout, mind you, okay?
I'm telling you, it only looks like that.
It is not easy, especially running around that thing there. It's.
You tried it?
I run. Hello. I run there, so I know what I'm talking about.
It is, once you set off and you get down to the bottom and you have to get all the way back up to the top and come back down. I'm telling you, when you finish, once I went out there, I said I was going to do this 2 times. After once, I was done. I wasn't going to do it 2 times.
Listen, Pastor, by the 3rd one, I said to myself, oh gosh, I can't make one more, but I have to make one more. So it's rough, but it's a good workout. So I understand the point that you're making about it being expensive.
That part is easy. That part is discipline, okay, frankly speaking. It becomes, I'll come to diet in just a little bit, but let me finish up the point on exercise, right? Ever since I have come to the realization that even if I do a little bit, I have to exercise. It's become a lifestyle. Now, let me tell you where this got embedded in me. It got embedded in me in the liberal arts education. I went to the United States primarily. Back in the day, I went there to do an education, to do my bachelor's degree to start off with. The first of the courses in my freshman year, first year in university, the first of the courses that was part of my take for that year, physical assessment and conditioning, right? And as part, I got to discover that, I came here for academics. Why are you forcing me? I'm healthy. Why are you forcing me to do strength training and physical assessment and conditioning and aerobic stuff? I played badminton. I did both. I did all kind of physical things. I did, and they were part of my core requirement. I could not graduate from that university with a liberal arts degree without having as part of my core some essentials in terms of the physical activity courses. Now, I got the philosophy behind it. The philosophy behind it is this mindset and idea, this thinking that a fit person, a healthy person, somebody who is in good physical shape is going to be a successful person. And that was a private university that I was attending, and they wanted all of their alumni, everyone who graduated, they wanted, that kind of statement out there in the world where our people, our graduates are the best. And part of being the best is basically keeping yourself in shape. And so they were teaching that idea and embedding that in you, that as part of your success, not just academic success and business success, but as a graduate, alumnus of this university, you represent us, you keep yourself in shape. That was embedded in me. And so I did. I did the gym, I did the track, I did all kind of stuff there. And that became part of my lifestyle. So 30 years later, or how much ever, don't do any math there, please. Years later, I am out of university. But what was embedded in me back then is this whole thing that part of a successful life is staying in shape. And it doesn't take much. Even if you don't join a gym or you don't have the money to join a gym, there are a whole heap of things you can do if you discipline yourself to either wake up early or to finish off your day, or even during the day to take your lunch break. When I was there, overseas, I used to use my lunch break to go running. So as soon as I'm out for lunch, I put on my running shoe and my clothes, and I go running for a few miles. I get back and I'm good to go clean up, and I'm good to go for the evening. But you can do that. It's a discipline, because exercise ain't fun sometimes. Unless it's competitive sports, exercise ain't fun. But if you discipline yourself, there's going to be a lot of payoff in terms of your endorphins, how you feel about yourself, how you look, not just the longevity of life, but the quality of that length of life. It pays off. So I have found, and you don't have to depend on an employer for this. This is a gift you can give to yourself. And anyone can give themselves this valuable. I mean, if you were to put money terms in it, it's very, very valuable what you're doing for yourself when you exercise. It's like having thousands of dollars imputed into your account. When you exercise, you can do it for yourself. So everyone hearing me, take time to exercise. So I said that it's a matter of two things. Eating and dieting and exercise. So the exercise is the easy part, which basically you need discipline for that. But the other part that is a little bit more tricky here is the diet, because frankly speaking, you now come to economic consideration. Eating properly is part of preventive medicine and preventive health practices here in Sylvania. This is not the easiest thing to do. The cheap stuff, what your income can afford, especially in a country where, depending on who you're listening to, the per capita GDP is anywhere between 11 and 12. Some might want to put it beyond that, but say $11,000 annually per annum. You can't do much with that. You're basically running at $1,000 per capita per month. Some people I know are way below that, but let us say even at $1,000 per month. By the time you take out for housing need, $500 for that. By the time you take out, if you have a child or two or three, for that, and then before you know it, you are left with and transportation. Even if you're taking buses, $200 a month for transportation. Before you know it, you have $100 left for food for the month. That is one grocery bag, basically. So when you go in with that $100 allocated for food per month, which is the reality, by the way, because of the profession I am in, I actually know this.
It is true.
I am not making it up. I actually know that some people are left with $100 a month, or maybe even less, for how they're going to eat. So you bread, flour, rice,
things that are more inexpensive. Is
yeah.
what you actually go for.
Chicken thighs. Can't buy fish. All right. Because fish is like $11 a pound if you buy it in the supermarket and stuff. Forget clean meats. Forget, even if you use chicken breast or turkey. If you buy a turkey, Graves has a thing there where you can buy the turkey breast. They can cut it up for you. But then you end up paying about $8 a pound, about $70 for a turkey. You can't your turkey breast. You can't do that. Broccoli is way up. The cauliflower is about $10. For every head of cauliflower, lettuce, green peppers, all of the healthy stuff, the natural healthy stuff, they're way, way, way expensive and priced out of your budget. So by default, Vincentians are forced to eat the stuff that is either high in sugar or high in sodium or high in trans fat. At the end of the day, sometimes people run out of their offices and go buy lunch. Where do you think they're going to buy lunch? I see the chicken trucks.
Yeah.
Fries and chicken wings or whatever.
Chicken, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what people buy and going back and sitting in their offices or wherever and eat. They might get a turbo or something and drink and swallow that down. Basically, what I am saying is that our incomes often dictate what we eat, and because of that, we, by necessity, by economic necessity, we are not necessarily eating the right kinds of food. And what this does now, I have to wrap this up. What this does is it becomes your private consumption patterns basically become a public or government nation's health burden, because invariably poor diet will lead to poor health. And even if the government or we save something on the front end because, people are eating and they're getting by their living, at the back end of it, when they go into the hospital with a myriad of diseases and health complications, a lot of it is the government has to provide because we have a kind of socialist medicine here. The government still has to provide. It's a cost on Vincentians. So I would like to see the nutrition unit and others give a little bit more attention to that. But with all of that said, unless people's disposable incomes go up, I don't see this changing. So how are we going to fix this? We eat what we have to eat, but at least we should get started with a regular routine of exercise. You will feel better for it, and you will live longer for it.
Words of wisdom, as someone said on the WhatsApp from our pastor. Thank you so much, Pastor.
Take care. Have a
great day. All right, we're going to jump out and come back with more OMG coming your way as we wrap things up here from the OMG crew.
Boom, boom, 1069. You are now officially part of the evolution.
This is Hans John representing for Boom 106.9. The time is now drawing the evolution. Don't lock me up, I'm begging you. If I drink and drop, tumbling down, half in top.
Them know we have to take over.
Yo, well, you don't know now. This is the Super Dog, and guess who's back? Inside the Boom Drive 1069. Yeah, man.
You could never fire the best DJ and expect people to listen to you.
Yo!
Hey!
Jesus! What did you just say there?
Let's go back to the talking now, people.
I want to know what this person just said on
Hey, Jesus!
Say that again. Say it again.
You could never fire the best DJ and expect people to listen to you. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Turn up the thing, pitbull.
Run style, bad man. Run style.
Boom 1069.
Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered? Covered by a company owned by Vincentians that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company.
Yo, well, you don't know now. This is the Super Dog, and guess who's back? Inside the Boom Drive 1069. Yeah, man.
You could never fire the best DJ and expect people to listen to you.
Yo!
Hey! Jesus!
What did you just say there?
Let's go back to the talking now, people.
I want to know what this person just said on
Hey, Jesus!
Say that again. Say it again.
You could never fire the best DJ and expect people to listen to you. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Turn up the thing, pitbull.
Run style, bad man. Run style.
Boom 1069.
With me right now, well, both of you already here. It's the Shade Room crew.
Yeah.
What kind of trouble y'all is be making in y'all?
We're in matching colors.
First of all, do you have a color issue? Because that is not the same color that you're wearing, Shady.
It's a little faded.
Jeez, buddy, that is not the same.
Same color.
What color is your shirt?
Red.
Shady, that's red?
Yeah, it is. It's red.
Faded red.
Because Catalina is a
Really
red wine.
faded.
Yeah.
Then you should retire that shirt, Shady. Because if that's supposed to
That's
be red,
the look. Faded jeans, faded
Nah,
shirts,
I thought all of
holy
me
shirts,
Faded shirts.
faded shirts, holy shirts.
I thought I would meet
But
Bing
no,
this
but
morning,
listen.
so I put on the
You
red.
put on something red. Oh, okay. But listen, she's a good team member. She definitely has your back. She was like, "That's a red.
Unlike
It's
Shady.
red." Hope you have her back like that too.
Shady going to sell me out every time.
What kind of trouble do you guys make in the shade room? Like what kind of stuff do you
Yeah,
guys?
and so do we make trouble? All sorts of things.
I'm pretty sure that
we really do. We dig holes and put explosives in there and all sorts of stuff.
Okay. Maybe I should not have asked that question.
Probably not. But you should definitely join us one of these days.
Yes, I will. I'm
Make
Jill,
some
I'm gonna
trouble
do-
with us.
Nah. My trouble days, I cool.
They're
I'm good.
finished.
Yeah.
You said so for
I'm
now.
good.
For
Trust
now.
me, Jill. I'm good. But I hope that you guys have a fantastic one this morning. I'm sure
you so
you're.
much.
I mean, I know we all want Bing back, but I'm sure you're okay with having him not have to. You know.
Naughty Bing's not even on my radar right now.
Yeah.
I didn't even miss him.
So we could play the music loud.
All of that.
Okay, I understand.
He said it.
I understand.
Anyway,
He said it.
He comes and he yells. He's really
He's
that
like,
happens.
Shady.
So Jill, do you actually follow him and turn it down?
He just come and turn it down.
Oh, he comes and he turns it down.
The bass.
Oh,
The
he
bass.
turns it off.
Yes.
That must really hurt for you, Shady.
No,
By the
it's
way,
summer vibes.
By the way, how you feeling, buddy? You got your amplified music. I see bear parties and all these things. Things nice again? Things nice again?
Things nice again.
Ah, there you go, Jill. He must be in a much better mood these days.
I tell you. That's all I can say.
All right, listen, they're coming up next. The Shade Room, Jill and Shady, and they're with you until what time?
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
It's Summerfest. Remember, it's Summerfest, you know.
Summerfest?
2020.
What's
Right in
Summerfest?
Boom. Definitely.
What's
There's
Summerfest?
Are you crazy?
Summer vibes.
Oh, okay.
Asking you so you could say.
No.
So you remember in this shift
I
we
just
don't do
remember,
it.
right?
Yeah.
We don't
In
do
your
it in this shift. So
we
I'm
don't do
asking,
it.
right? What's
So
summer vibes?
in our shift,
Yeah.
we go straight up until I think it's what, Shady? Until when? 12.
One?
No, not our shift. It's
Oh.
Summerfest starts in our shift and it goes right up until 12.
8.
Eight.
Yeah.
So what exactly
Yes.
is Summerfest?
We bring the summer vibes.
Oh.
You know. Should we elaborate? We elaborate more.
Oh, when you guys come on, okay. So you definitely want to stick around for that to hear what the summer
the
fest and the
summer
summer
mouth is dry.
vibe is about. Listen, Jill gonna sort herself out and come back as the Jill you know and love.
Definitely.
Be coming out for them when she comes on in her shift. All right, so make sure that you stick around. The Shade Room with the Summer Fest. They're coming up next right here on Boom 1069.
Boom. Boom. 1069. You are now officially part of the evolution.